So here we are with assignment number 30. We are continuing with our chapter on lines and angles. What we are going to do today is we are going to look at something which is totally different. We are looking at transversal. Now what is a transversal? You can see over here that there are two lines over here, and let's say a third line comes and crosses these two lines. Now this line that I have just made, which is crossing these two already given lines, is called a transversal. In other words, a line which is passing through two different lines will be called a transversal. Keeping this in mind, we move from here to our next topic, which is parallel lines. Now, what are parallel lines? Parallel lines are lines which are moving, it could move in any direction, but what we got to keep in mind is that the distance between these two lines here will always remain the same. In other words, the two lines do not touch each other even when it is extended. So the parallel lines could be in any form. Now, how do we know that two lines are parallel? Two lines are said to be parallel when it is given in the form of similar arrows. For example, I could have another parallel line which is passing through these two parallel lines. So my parallel line could be like this, but it has to be shown with the help of a different type of arrow. So in this figure, we understand that these two lines are parallel because it's showing with one arrow, and these two lines are parallel because it's showing with two arrows. Now in parallel lines, I could have transversals. So for example, a line that crosses this is called a transversal. Here, this could be considered to be a transversal when I look at the two parallel lines like this, or this could be considered to be the transversal. If I look at these two as parallel lines, then this could be one transversal, or this could be another one. If I look at another one, this could be a transversal. So let's look at this one here. When a transversal crosses this line, there are many angles which are formed. For example, you can see one angle here, you can see another angle formed here, a third angle here, a fourth angle here. This could be a fifth one, sixth one, a seventh one, and an eighth one. So you could have different angles being formed there. Now when I look at it, let's look at it over here. Let's look at the first type. The first type is called adjacent angles. We've already done adjacent angles. Adjacent angles are angles lying side by side. But in this case, since this is a straight line and the transversal is crossing it, number 1 and 2, these two are lying side by side. So they are called adjacent angles. At the same time, since this is a straight line, I can say that the total from here to here is going to be 180 degrees. So we've got 8 pairs of adjacent angles. 1 and 2. So I've taken 1 and 2. 3 and 4. So we are talking about angle 3 and angle 4. 5 and 6. So angle 5 and angle 6. Angle 7 and 8. So 7 and 8. On the other hand, now this time I am looking at this as a straight line and this as another straight line. So 1 and 3 become adjacent. So it's given here. 2 and 4, these two are also adjacent. 5 and 7 and 6 and 8. So these are the different pairs of adjacent angles. In a parallel line, the adjacent angles will always add up to 180 degrees. Moving to the next one. Vertically opposite angles. We've already done it. Now, if I look at this one here, angle 1 and angle 4 are vertically opposite. Similarly, Angle 3 and angle 2 are vertically opposite. 5 over here and 8 vertically opposite, and 6 and 7 here are also vertically opposite. There are 4 pairs of vertically opposite angles, and what we must remember is vertically opposite angles are always equal. Next one, corresponding angles. Now what are corresponding angles? You can see over here there are 4 pairs of corresponding angles. Now we know this is the transversal. If I look at the left hand side of the transversal and towards the top of these parallel lines, you will see angle 1 and angle 5. Now these two are corresponding to each other. Similarly, angle 2 and angle 6 are corresponding to each other. Angle 3 and angle 7 and angle 4 and angle 8. These are all corresponding angles. The corresponding angles are always equal. Next one, interior alternate angles. Now what are interior alternate angles? Let's have a look at it. Interior alternate, there are 2 pairs, 3 and 6. Let's look at it. It is inside the 2 parallel lines but on the opposite side. Inside the parallel lines but on the opposite side. Similarly, the next one will be 4 and 5. So 3 and 6, 4 and 5 are interior alternate angles. Interior alternate angles are always equal. Next one, exterior alternate angles, always equal. Now, exterior, that means outside the parallel lines. 1 and 8, these two are exterior alternate angles. Similarly, you've got 2 and 7. So there are 2 pairs of exterior alternate angles, and exterior alternate angles, as I said, are always equal. Next one, allied or co-interior angles. It may be called allied angles or it may be called co-interior angles. Now what are these? These are the inside ones but on the same side. Inside ones on the same side. Similarly, 4 and 6, 3 and 5, 4 and 6. So these are the different types of angles in a parallel line. We will be working out with sums based on all these theory that we have done in our next video. So please be prepared and go through these videos carefully.